All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Speed Racing Network, where we present the Xfinity Series. This is week number 1 here at Chicagoland Speedway. My name is Sean Griffith. I am here with Justin Boyles, the COVID commentator himself. How's it going, Justin?
Oh, man, it's going good, man. Just trying to get past this COVID stuff and looking forward to a great race tonight.
Well, you still sound great, buddy. I'm glad you're feeling, at least okay.
Yeah, man, I've been, considering everything's been pretty good here. And, like I said, just looking forward to a good race and excited to get this thing started.
Absolutely. Well, we've got 100 laps to figure this thing out. We've got one fast repair here in the Xfinity Series, so they've got to be careful, but not too careful.
Yeah, and, with 100 laps, it can come across as a long race, but those laps will tick down quickly, especially when we get some long green flag runs. And so it's important for guys to be able to position themselves tonight to be in spots that they can capitalize when we get to the end of this thing, because it is hard to pass in these Xfinity cars. You have to set your runs up perfectly. And so, you want to qualify well and hang out at the front if you can tonight.
You bet. I mean, last night we had a great truck race. We went a long time under green, so hopefully we can get the same thing here tonight, and hopefully we can get the same thing for the rest of the season. And speaking of the season, we've got 3 separate series. We've got 3 separate leagues going on: the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. Look at the price points there: $5, $10, $15. And then you also have different rating systems as well. So you have different levels of drivers.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Sean. And the I rating thing, some people have different opinions on that as to how well that's going to separate skill and talent level. But let me tell you, our lowest in terms of I rating series we have is the Truck Series. But if you didn't watch that race last night and you're here tonight watching this one, I highly suggest after this to go watch that race, because those guys put on a show, and you wouldn't have known that was the lowest I rating series that we have here in the Speed Racing Network. It was a great race, and so it's not a tell-all. And those guys really surprised me with how well they did, and I expect the same thing tonight.
Yeah, that just proves exactly how good of drivers we have in Speed Racing Network, that the lowest series can really hold an audience the way that they did last night. Absolutely incredible racing. But here we are in the Xfinity Series, where things are just a little bit different. We still have 20 weeks. We still have fixed setups. We still have one fast repair. It's a little more expensive, $10 per week. But also look at that first prize, $500.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, all of these series are built around competition and to be as competitive as they can and friendly to the drivers and the teams that enter them. $10 a week, when you really break that down, that's not all that much, and the payouts that you can earn in this series are exorbitant. I mean, really, if you're talking about sim racing at a level that's not up in the professional levels, and yet you can still capitalize big time on what we're doing here. And that team championship too, those guys are going to really be trying to gun for that and see if they can earn a few extra dollars at the end of the season by putting together a consistent performance for their entire team.
Yeah, even if you don't win in the series itself, if you have a good, consistent team, you can still walk away with money. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with all 3 of these leagues, is give everybody a shot to win something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. At the end of the day, you're going to have guys who are going to run up front most of the time, and you're going to have guys who maybe spend a little more time in the back than they would like. But if you can spread the wealth, and try to, make it more inclusive for everybody and drivers of all talent levels, that's going to bring more drivers, more viewers, more eyes, and all in all, it just improves what we have going as a league as a whole.
Definitely does. And look at the race payouts. And so we give out payouts week to week, and then we also save up a nice prize fund for the end for that $500 prize. But just look at the race payout itself. First place is going to get $50 and an entry into this Sunday's Cup Series race, which is right back here at Chicagoland again.
Yeah, and I don't know which one may be more valuable to some of these guys, that $50 or that entry into the Cup Series race. I have a feeling that some of the guys who didn't quite reach the threshold of I rating to race in the Cup Series may want to get that win so they can race and see if they can show everybody, hey, I can race with the big guys too.
Yeah, you always want to have the best competition out there. You always want to race up instead of racing down. Yeah, it's fun to win the race, but it's no fun if there's no competition, and that's what we're trying to do here. And we'll introduce you to the guy that won the truck series last night, so that way we can actually talk about those people that are advancing throughout the season. But then take a look at our season-long payouts. This is where the big money is. So first prize, $500. Second prize, $300. Third place, $200. Fourth, $150. Fifth, $100. And then the team championship, you already discussed it, $200 for that team to split up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you look at the prizes here. The guys who earn these prizes at the end of the season will have also earned a lot of race by race payouts throughout the season. So these guys can really, really, really make their mark this season through performance and payouts, and use all of that to pay for upcoming races, improve their sim rigs, do a lot of things that can help them continue to advance through this three-tiered league that we have.
Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people think that iRacing is a hobby, and for most people, it really is a hobby. But at the same time, how would you like to get paid to do your hobby? And that is what we're offering here. That's what iRacing can offer with the right leagues, and that's what what we're doing here at Speed Racing Network.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For a hobby, at the end of the day, everybody here probably dreams of being a race car driver. So, these guys are going to get really that full experience. The only difference is they're not going to have to work in the body shop tomorrow after they bounce it off the wall a few times.
That's right. Sheet metal and tires are free here on iRacing, so it's all good there. But if you want a more real experience, you have to get a butt kicker. And the butt kickers, basically, they attach to your racing chairs, your racing seats, and it makes you feel like you're inside the car. And we're giving one away for free to the cleanest driver of the season this season.
Yep, Sean, I have two of them, and let me tell you, they are worth the investment, and I wish I could have got mine for free for sure. I would probably have to dial back my aggressiveness a little bit to earn this award, but hey, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to go for this, and that may be their goal this season, is just to try to keep it clean and not tear up too many cars and see if they can't get themselves a free butt kicker, but they are definitely great to have on your rig.
Absolutely, they are. And if you can't wait to get that butt kicker, go and use the discount code SRNVS20 on the butt kicker website to get 20% off your order. And so all of this is sponsored by Butt Kicker. Great sponsors, and we certainly appreciate them being here with us. Next up, we got Kane Cook. And so this guy is one of the top racers in all of iRacing. In fact, he's known for something kind of special. He's known for being what's called a hard charger. Justin, what is that?
Pretty much, if you can pick up the most positions from the start of the race to the end of the race, you are the hard charger of said race. And Kane Cook is very, very good at this. He races in the Coca-Cola eNASCAR series. And that series has blown up in popularity, especially over the last couple of years with especially with the COVID thing breaking out this past summer. The e-racing, eNASCAR stuff really blew up. Kane Cook is one of those drivers, and I don't know if you saw this today or not, Sean, just to give people an idea of how big this stuff is. The purse got announced for that series. It was $330,000 this year. It was $100,000 last year. So that's how big this thing is growing right now.
Yeah, and some of the sponsors and some of those teams are actual real NASCAR teams that sponsor these drivers and have these drivers on their teams. And so this is the big time, and we have Kane Cook. He has agreed to help out the drivers of Speed Racing Network and any other drivers as well. All you have to do is go to speedracingnetwork.com. You can book some time with Kane Cook. There are some fees there, but you can book a single one-on-one session. You can book a two-on-one session. You can have a 5-person team in there, or you can get 10 friends together and all of you get some coaching from Kane Cook. We've run a couple of these already, and everybody has said it is absolutely amazing.
These are some talented guys, Sean, and let me tell you something. My whole life I grew up and my parents said you can't pay the bills playing video games. Well, Kane Cook is. So if there's a guy to listen to, he's the guy.
Absolutely, he is. He is one of the best out there. Can't wait to see what he does this season in that Coca-Cola eNASCAR series. Sorry. And so we have our team introductions now. So let's kind of talk about these teams a little bit because we've got some really great drivers out there. Can't wait to see what they're going to do as far as meshing with each other. But we've got Silverback Tax Solutions sponsoring our team introductions. So if you have any IRS issues, get the monkey off your back and call Silverback Tax Solutions. But we're going to start off with Bronco Motorsports, and Chris Massey is the one that's kind of put together this entire team. He's racing up in the Cup Series. But Chris has put together this great group of guys here doing really well already.
Yeah, and Sean, I'm pretty unfamiliar with this team overall, except for Brad Williams. And but let me tell you something. Knowing Chris Massey and having raced with him over the past season and a half or so, I know that anybody that Chris Massey is willing to put Bronco Motorsports on the side of their virtual race car, probably a good driver. So watch out for this team all year long.
Yeah, they are really, really good. But here comes another great team, H2K Motorsports. So H2K stands for Hard to Kill, and it's just out there on the track. They just will not go away.
Yeah, and they've got a name at the top of that list that sticks out, and that's Jovi Sagiped, I believe, right? Did I get that right?
I think it's Sagiped.
Sagiped, okay.
I think.
I know I'm supposed to know this, and I've heard it enough, but listen, that young man is really good at willing the things around the track, and he's a guy I'm watching, and I've got a short list of guys that I'm going to be watching tonight especially, and he's definitely near the top of that.
He certainly is, and all 5 of these guys have started to work together really, really well. We've seen H2K move up the charts a little bit more than they did even last season, so they're constantly improving as a team, and with a leader like Jovi up there towards the front, I think they can only get better. Next up, we got R&D Motorsports, and so this is a team from Tennessee, and they've kind of put together, really, to be completely honest with you, R&D Motorsports has come out and they've just kind of thrown together a team to go around Daniel Bodler and Cody Havens, and they ended up getting 3 of the best young drivers we've seen.
Yeah, and this is a team I raced for in the Cup Series, and David Duke has done a great job putting this team together. But Daniel Bodler and Cody Havens are 2 guys who are going to make the people around them better. And so, Chris Heller, Eric Hawk, and Curtis Young, these guys are going to probably elevate to the level that Daniel Bodler and Cody Havens are on, from what I've been able to watch. And if that is the case, watch out, because that's 5 guys who can definitely compete for wins week in and week out in this series.
Yeah, keep in mind that last week, Daniel Bodler won the Sparkle and Shine race, and that allowed him to get a 5-week Sparkle and Shine sponsorship. And you'll see that car a little bit later on this evening while we're actually racing. We'll zoom in on it. But he's already won his way into the first 5 races, and man, that's got to really relax you in the car.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot of pressure, right? I mean, you come in here and you're playing with house money at that point, and so. You can kind of use that to your advantage and maybe make some moves that maybe you might not have made before. And people around you kind of have to respect the fact that you are playing with house money.
Well, David Duke went out and he got so many people that wanted to be on his team. He actually had to start another one, and so he calls it R2D2 Motorsports. And so there we've got Jay Graves, Dylan Patterson, Jamie Plourde, Kevin Winker, and Michael Amenti. And so I know Jay Graves from last season. He was one of our top drivers in Mid-South Madness, and he's going to be one of the top drivers this season too.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you, Jay Graves is a guy that I've raced around with in Mid-South Madness, and I know that guy has some talent. And, once again, David Duke throwing together these teams, and I'm sure he's putting guys together that are going to succeed, and he's going to put them in a position to do that. So look out for this team and really any car that David Duke's associated with, because the guy knows what he's doing. He has prior NASCAR experience, and so I expect any team that he's a part of to perform well.
Yeah, he used to be an official in the Busch Series as well as a crew chief there. So when it comes to racing, he knows what he's talking about. But this team, Rev Racing, they know a lot of stuff too. I mean, they've been practicing all off season. They even have an off-season program to figure out who is going to race for them here in the Xfinity League.
Yeah, this is a team that did a lot of work in recruiting for their team. And this is a team that has the most familiar names on it for me. And one name that stands out, and really all of them do, but Marshall Stanley. When I first met that guy, he was kind of a road course ringer, and that's kind of what I saw him as. But the more I raced with him, I was actually teammates with him last year in Mid-South Madness. He can perform at any style of track. And I think that he can have a great race tonight. And if he does, and he shows he's doing well in these ovals, and I think the rest of the team's going to follow him. And this could be probably the most stacked team that we have.
Yeah, you always love to have those drivers on your team that can do multiple facets of racing, multiple levels of racing. And so he's great at the roads, he's great on the ovals, but he's also great in the Indy cars as well. So he gets a lot of practice in a lot of different ways of racing, and that helps him out on the track because he learns things about the track that other people don't see. Next up, we got Tank Racing. So coming into the season, we thought they were going to be named something different, but then they went back to the old throwback from last season, Tank Racing. And so they have a great team put together, and most of these guys we raced with last season, Derek Da Silva in the 5, Zach Taylor in the 14, Devin Zimmerman in the 33, Mike Lepicki in the 46, and in the 57 we have Emerson Ardon.
Yeah, this is another team with a lot of familiar names on it. And this is another team that has a name that's on that short list of guys that I expect to compete for this championship and week in and week out. And that's Zachary Taylor. That is probably, if I had to guess, our youngest guy in the league. But his age does not reflect his talent at all. That is a kid who is super talented. This entire team is talented top to bottom. And this is another team, I think, right there along with Rev Racing that could be 5 deep competing for a championship come the end of the season.
Yeah, don't look past Devin Zimmerman, though, because he actually made it to the finals last season for the playoffs. And so this is a really stacked team. And don't look past Mike Lepicki either. He was runner-up in the first season of Mid-South Madness. So we've got some great players out there. Next up, we got Team SRN, and so this is the last team we have on the list, but it's the factory team. It's the home team. This is Team Speed Racing Network, and they have put together, they've kind of molded this a little bit. I know Danny Setzer was with Team SRN last season, but now you got a few others in there that have come from other teams.
Yeah, and this is another team that has a lot of familiar names on it for me, but one guy that's had a really great preseason, all these practice races we've done, is Bo Tiffany. I've seen him around the front in a lot of these preseason races that we've been calling and the ones I've been watching. And so him, Danny Setzer, and Stan Hausman too. Those are guys that I've gotten to see a lot of. And this team is going to be solid, I think. And if they can put together some consistent performances, I think they could be right up there with Tank Racing and Rev'd and some of these top teams that we have in this league.
Definitely. I mean, we've got a few other drivers out there on the track that are also independent drivers, so not necessarily with the team, and most of those are stepping down from the Cup Series into the Xfinity Series, which we allow you to do a few times. There's some others that are stepping up from the Truck Series into the Xfinity, which we allow you to do a few times. But there's one out there that is absolutely special, and that's Michael Madden. He was the winner of the Truck Series race last night, and so he gained an entry into this race. He's had no practice on this Xfinity car, so what can you expect from that?
Well, the trucks, when you look at the 3 series, the Xfinity cars handled the most differently from the other two. The trucks and the Cup cars both have that high downforce, low horsepower package. These Xfinity cars are pretty low downforce and they're pretty high horsepower, and so that could prove to be a challenge for Michael Madden if he hasn't had a lot of practice. But listen. If you won a race last night, you're probably not going to have a hard time adjusting to this. And so I think Michael Madden should be fine, and he could be a player tonight just like he was last night. And he spent a lot of time up front and played a great pit strategy there at the end to grab the win. So this could be a night where Michael Madden grabs a win, and who knows? We could be looking at 2 for 2 to start the season for Michael Madden.
Man, and if that happens, that's just going to be amazing because he always has fans out there in the chat. And so definitely if you're out there in the chat, you're rooting for Michael Madden, let us know. Also, if you're rooting for anybody else out there in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for. We got a lot of people out there that are racing in these other series that are watching just to see how their teammates do. But we've also got a lot of fans out there, so we appreciate you guys being there. Let's jump out there to the track because I think we just wrapped up our qualifying.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It looks like we're going to have Gregory Joyner sitting on the pole with David Duke to the outside pole. So 2 kind of surprise names there, 1 and 2, to get us started here tonight.
Not really sure David Duke is a surprise, but Christopher Heller from R&D Motorsports up there in third. There's Jovi that we were talking about a little bit earlier, so he's kind of leading the way for H2K Motorsports in the preseason. Let's see what he can do here in fourth position.
Yeah, and you see Dean Brummett, he's sitting there in fifth. Nicholas Goen, he's in sixth. Daniel Bowdler in seventh. Aaron Gerwitz eighth. So a lot of the names that we had touched on are going to be hanging around the front there to kick this thing off. I see Danny Setzer. Looks like he may not have qualified. He's gonna bring up the rear. He's gonna be the caboose of this train here. But just a lot of guys up front, and this should be some great racing to get this thing kicked off. And it is a Chevy party for the top 10 outside of Jovi Saggy Bed.
Yeah, taking a look at that 10th position there, look at Curtis Young. So that was one of those drivers that David Duke kind of picked up on R&D Motorsports and just kind of lucked out that he was as good as what he is.
Yeah, and it's funny you said the Tennessee team, and then they got Canadians driving for them, right? So, but I also wanted to correct you because I'm a driver for those guys in the Cup Series, and I'm in Alabama, right? So we've been petitioning David Duke to see if we can throw a maple leaf and the Alabama flag on the logo somewhere. So we'll see if we can make that happen here soon enough.
Oh, I'm sure he will make that happen. All right, so let's get out there on the track as the cars are starting to go around for their formation lap, and we are about to get this party started. Man, this season, we've been waiting for this for about 7 weeks now. We've been waiting to get started on this season, and now we've got it out there. We've got 39 cars on the track ready to do battle.
Yeah, Sean, and 39 cars. That is what they say, two's company, three's a crowd. I don't know what you want to call 39. But it's going to be a lot of people battling for very little real estate here to get this thing started. Like I said, it's hard to make passes in these cars, especially later on in the run. So the earlier you can do that when you're on those fresh tires, pick up those spots on these starts, that's going to be important in order to have a shot to be around the front towards the end of this. As I see Wayne Rayburn is going to get an EOL here to start the race. Maybe he wants to stay out of the Hornet's Nest, wants to go straight to the back and not quite have to deal with what could be a mess early on.
It's really not a bad idea. I know last night's race, we started off with a couple of really fast cautions, so maybe he just wants some time to maneuver around something like that.
Yeah, man. Here we go. I'm excited. I'm ready to get this thing started, Sean. The pace car is going to dive off. It's going to be Gregory Joyner going to bring us to the green flag to start the season here in the Speed Racing Network Xfinity Series. He gets a great jump. David Duke to the outside here trying to hold off. That is Christopher Heller for second place.
Yeah, David Duke back there. So Gregory Joyner got a great jump on that. And here we go. Jovi up in fourth position. He is just trying to find a way around, and so is number 24, Dean Brummett.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the Hornet's Nest is going to be back here first, second place. And it looks like the rest of the field did a good job of getting spread out. I'm interested to see how this top line, how much success it can have. It looks like we got somebody might have went to the grass back there a little further back. It looks like everybody holds on to it right now, but they are three wide heading off into one back in the second pack.
Yeah, we are going just 2 wide, 3 wide all the way through the pack except for the front two, and Gregory Joyner is just trying to check out early in this race.
Yeah, and listen, if he can get that clean air, he can get out front, maybe save his stuff a little bit, and that can be the advantage. But if he drives too hard trying to get away, there's a guy sitting there in that number 3 car who, he's in third place right now. I think he's the guy who can pounce on a longer run. He's shown it many times in this preseason.
Yeah, Jovi has proven he is definitely really, really good, especially on these mile-and-a-half tracks. And it's all because of tire saving, and that's really the name of the game at these mile-and-a-half tracks, isn't it?
Yeah, you really have to take care of your stuff. And maybe you can push a little bit, but the thing is once those tires start falling off, it's almost habit to try to get more out of it because you're trying to maximize your speed. So you're not doing anything but chewing up that right front even more than you already were. That can be a problem. So it's going to be important for these guys to make sure they manage their stuff, take their runs when they get the chance, but also know when to back off. You see David Duke is starting to run down Gregory Joyner.
Yes, he is. And now with everybody lined up, that's going to help them push to the front just a little bit. Gregory would much rather see them go side by side.
Yeah, the only problem for those guys is, though, especially as the run goes on, when they enter the corner there nose to tail like that, only the lead car is going to have any air on his nose, which pushes those front tires into the surface. which allows that car to turn. So every car that's behind him doesn't have that same downforce, and so you're going to lean on that right front tire a little bit more. And so that's the advantage Gregory Joyner has being out front, because he's got all the downforce he needs to be sure that he doesn't have to lean on that right front tire as much. As we see, Jovi is going to go for second here on the inside of David Duke on the fourth.
Yeah, and it looked like Dean Brummett was thinking about following him there, but David Duke kind of shut that down in a hurry.
Yeah, and you see these guys cutting the apron too, going down the front stretch. This isn't Daytona or Talladega. It's the only place that you cannot go on the apron. And you may see that late in the race on the back stretch too, as people try to fight for real estate. But when you get down on that apron, the car tries to get a little swirly, and that can also eat up those tires a little more than you want. But right now, it's still nose to tail through the front 8 here of this field.
Let's jump back just a little ways because we got a little bit more two-wide racing back here. Looks like we got Zach Taylor there in 15th position trying to fight with, he gets into the grass a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to judge that where you're at exactly as you go down on that apron. So you got to be careful, because if you get sideways there, that can cause some issues. Back at the front, Jovi is starting to apply the pressure on Joyner here for the lead.
Yeah, and David Duke not too far behind either, so he's just waiting to pounce also. But it looks like Jovi not only has the speed, but also has that inside line.
Yeah, but he's going to have the run here. It looked like David might have wanted to go with him, but David's going to try to arc his corner down here into turn 1 as Jovi is going to try to grab the lead. He's trying to put on for the Toyotas because he's the only one in the top 9 right now that's not a Chevrolet.
And here we go. So Gregory Joyner just trying to hold it off. David Duke dives to the inside.
Yeah, trying to cut off that run there, trying to get to the bottom, because he knew if he could follow Jovi up the inside here, he's going to be in second place, and it works out for him. But I imagine Dean Brummett's not going to be too happy about that move there, as he really had to check up there on the backstretch.
Well, Dean is very, very, very patient, but we've got 90 laps of this. If that happened on something like lap 95, it would be over.
Oh yeah, if you're Dean and it's late in that race, maybe you don't cut him as much slack there, and you let him make his own bed and make him lie in it too. But right now, it is an absolute battle here at the front as Dean Brummett really takes a dive at the inside on Gregory Joyner, and this is what I was talking about. Did he use his stuff up too much to get out front, because he's starting to slide back now, as he's going to lose that 3rd spot and probably 4th if I had to imagine here.
And then you can see Daniel Baldler. He usually runs the blue number 6. Tonight he's in the red number 6 for the Sparkle and Shine sponsorship.
3 wide off of 2 here. Yeah, they're going to be 3 wide, and he's going to try to sparkle and shine that car right on by the 24 and the 85 here on the bottom. He's going to have to take a shallow entry, as looks like Gregory Joyner thought better of being 3 wide and backed out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And Dean didn't really want to be there in the middle anyway. That's not the place you want to be anywhere on this track.
Yeah, and right now the race is for second, but if you look up just a couple car lengths ahead of those guys, we've got a 1v1 between Jovi and David Duke for the lead right now.
You can see how much they've broken away from these guys that are racing side by side in the back, and that's what we're talking about. When you're side by side like that, it is just really tough to get any momentum.
Yeah, it just splits the air between those 2 cars, and that really just drags you back and drags everybody in that group back as they look to be starting to get single filed back out. And but yeah, I mean, right now as we're gonna have an attempt for the lead here by David Duke on the inside.
And he's got the position, and Jovi's just kind of let him by here. I don't think that Jovi wants to burn up his tires trying to defend off David Duke right now.
Yeah, no, he's going to take his time here. I mean, if he can set up the crossover like he was trying to there, he will. But right now, I think he knows it's his best bet here to just hang out and ride, as these guys now are really starting to fan out and get spread out. And this is the point of the race now where you're trying to ride. You're maybe starting to think about pit strategies and figuring out, hey, what's our plan here? We're now 13 laps into this race.
Yeah, a lot of times people think that this is going to be a caution fest right off the bat because there's so many cars on the track, but they've done a really great job getting spread out and just letting the race and do the work.
Yeah, and I'm looking, it looks like we have some guys down here in the back of this pack who are a lap down. At least I'm showing that on my scoring. Maybe my scoring's wrong. That looks to be the case here, but I see some guys who've lost a lot of positions to start this thing. Jay Graves lost 11 spots here already throughout this race. And I look at Zachary Taylor, a guy I pointed out. It looks like he's our hard charger at the moment. He's picked up 7 spots. He's up to 13th from 20th when he started this race.
Yeah, he is definitely on the move. And we didn't really expect anything different than that, though.
Yeah, I expected Zach Taylor to be able to move up through this pack and pick up spots fairly quickly, and he continues to do that. Looks like he let his tires come to him, and so he's going to take advantage of that.
Well, take a look at Michael Madden, our winner from last night. He is up in 14th position, started off in 15th, so he is moving up just slowly but surely, but that's how he won the race last night too.
Yeah, just taking his time here, really just probably trying to get a feel of what the car is going to do in traffic here. You know, you can practice it in the pre-race practice, but until you see, you know, how it's going to behave when guys make moves underneath you and things like that, you know, you really just need to take your time, and he seems to be doing that, and it's working out for him so far.
Back up front, Gregory Joyner under fire right now by Dean Brummett in that 24 car.
Yeah, Greg Joyner has really recovered, though. I thought he was going to continue to lose spots, but right now he's still holding on that 4th spot. And I think we're at the part of the run now, as those tires start to fall off. If you have to enter real low into the corner, it's going to be really hard to complete a pass. And I think that's what we're seeing with Dean Brummett right now, is he just can't quite hang on Greg Joyner's door through the corner.
Yeah, you can see Curtis Young coming up on his tail. He's not going to want to push too hard just yet, but he might get a good run on him. No, not all the way there. Almost lost it.
Yeah, and right now, if you're Dean Brummett, you want to pick up that spot in front of you, but you also got to be careful and make sure you defend the spot that you're in right now, because as you try to make this pass, you could open yourself up to losing more spots, especially with the way guys are lined up behind them. If you accidentally slip up off that bottom groove, you could lose all 4 spots to the guys behind you that are lined up.
Yeah, you got Christopher Heller there in the number 10 car for R&D Motorsports, moving into, it looks like the 7th position, just underneath Aaron Gerwitz for Rev Racing.
Yeah, now, you know, these guys are really they're starting to spread out, starting to kind of give and take a little bit, and that's important as we count down the laps here. You know, you gotta take care of your race car, and so far so good for everybody. I don't think we've had a whole lot of issues. I don't have any off tracks in my session event, so I mean, right now it's been a pretty good race.
No, and now we got some people closing in on each other. Awfully tight racing back here, as we got Josh Marks, we got Michael Madden, we got a couple others that are really doing battle side by side, but now they start to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, I was just watching that battle there in turn 3 from atop the spotter stand. That's where I've got my camera set up, Sean. I've got a view of everything here. And, you know, the outside line is really starting to pinch that bottom groove as they come through the corner, and that's able to that allows these guys to be able to hold off the charges that the inside line is trying to make on these guys to pick up spots. And so that it kind of attributes to single file racing. It also attributes to more aggressiveness, because you're really trying to pick up those spots, but that guy keeps pinching you. You can't make that move, so you got to be careful not to slide up and get into that guy.
Yeah, David Duke not able to really pull away too much right now. Jovi right there on his tail, but Jovi, it doesn't seem like he's pushing right now, and that's probably by design.
Yeah, I don't think Jovi's in too big of a hurry. As long as this thing stays green, you know you're going to have some stops coming up, and right now Jovi's just kind of hanging out, following David Duke, maybe learning a little something. What's David Duke doing differently than I would do if I was in this position? And so you pick up that information when you follow a guy like that. It looks like we have the 11 car on pit road of Dustin Scruggs. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him, but I'm showing he is on pit road at the moment.
He is on pit road, and we've still got great racing back here with Cody Havens and Michael Madden. Actually, Michael Madden's a little bit further ahead, so we got Cody Havens, Bo Tiffany, and Nathaniel Mon back here.
Yeah, somebody got real wide off the corner there and almost drug that gas tank up against the fence there. But yeah, just some great racing throughout the field. Everybody trying to pick up the spots they can pick up while they still can, because as these laps continue to tick off, your ability to pass cars continues to get worse, and it's harder and harder to pass cars as these tires wear out.
A couple of teammates side by side here for Tank Racing, Mike Lepicki and Zach Taylor.
Yeah, I imagine these guys will respect each other, maybe give each other plenty of room, and yeah, he's going to go ahead and let him go. Probably the best move there, to let him have the bottom, so you don't accidentally have some collateral damage between teammates there. And Sean, as these guys get ready for these pit stops, these green flag pit stops, you know are coming. You need to start looking for your mark and you know, trying to figure out, hey, when am I going to check up? When am I going to, you know, get off the track to get down to pit road? This is one of the toughest pit roads to get on under green flag condition, because you don't have a runoff down onto pit road. You actually have to come straight off the banking onto that apron. It's so easy to lose the grip. So these guys, if they're smart, are looking at that right now, trying to figure out, hey, when am I going to do it? And, probably trying to figure out the strategy as we speak as they start spreading out. But right now, they are still 2 by 2 back here around 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Dean Brummett, again, just cannot complete the pass on Gregory Joyner right now. That's kind of holding up the guys behind him. That's Curtis Young and Christopher Heller.
Yeah, and these guys are watching that top 3 get smaller and smaller out of their windshields. And so you may start seeing a little bit of patience starting to go away with these guys. As you don't want to lose touch with these leaders, especially if we do get in those green flag stops, because every bit of real estate that you can get is worth a lot. But speaking of that top 3, Daniel Bowdler is starting to run down Jovi and David Duke, and he wants to throw his hat into the ring here for the lead.
And Dean Brummett did a little bit of a slide job there, and he got away with it, but he makes the pass on Gregory Joyner finally.
Yeah, and like I said, the aggressiveness starts to ramp up when you get stuck behind the guy, and that may very well have been the driving factor behind that slide job. Is you kind of get tired of looking at that guy's bumper, and so you just go ahead and take it upon yourself to make a move.
Yeah, Dean Brummett running that DuPont paint scheme, and that's in honor of his buddy and teammate up in the Cup Series, Jake Rowell, whose birthday was yesterday, if I remember correctly. So happy birthday, Jake Rowell. You're getting your paint scheme up towards the front of this race.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday to Jake. I'm looking forward to racing with him Sunday night in the Cup Series. And, not my favorite paint scheme, the Jeff Gordon Rainbow, but definitely one of the all-time classics.
Back up front, Jovi is still just maintaining that little bit of a gap behind David Duke there. So we're still, again, just kind of riding around up here, and both of them are content to do that, except Daniel Bowdler has all of a sudden come into this picture.
Yeah, and if I'm Jovi, if I'm Daniel here, I'm looking at these guys, or I'm looking at David Duke mainly, who's leading this race. He's a Cup Series regular, and he's out here part-time. I don't want to let this guy win the race. You're not going to come in here and steal our thunder in the Xfinity Series if I'm these guys. So, I'm sure they're probably taking their time. They want to be smart about whatever move they're planning on making here, but, they have to watch it. We may have green flag stops starting already. Jay Graves and Dylan Patterson both have come down pit road.
Yeah, Cody Havens also coming in. Cody Havens. We got Michael Amenti, Danny Setzer, all coming into the pits already. So already starting. And is that a good strategy to come in first, or should you wait a little longer?
Well, I think if you're towards the back, at least not competing for the lead at the moment, that's the move. Every lap that you pick up on these leaders that stay out is probably a good, second and a half, 2 seconds, depending on what the tire fall off is looking like. So if that's the case, if you're not in the top 10 and you want to make something happen, clearly what you're doing is not working. So why not try to short pit, see if you can undercut some of these guys.
Looking back just a little ways, we got some great racing back here for 5th. You got Gregory Joyner back there involved, Nick Gowen. We got you got Curtis Young, Christopher Heller. So a lot of cars back here that just want that spot, but this is going to make it really tough for them to pit, especially on this pit road.
Yeah, that's Aaron Gerwitz in the 09, I believe, and he was a guy who had been running near the top groove this entire race, or that middle high groove, and so seeing that he's down on the bottom now and maybe getting ready to come down pit road here in just a few laps.
And that's going to be a struggle for those guys on the top line. They're either going to have to hold up or they're going to have to go around a couple more times before they pit.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be 2 by 2 if you're going to try to cut down pit lane. You need to be single file before you even try anything, because if you do try to come from that outside lane, there's no telling who could be coming up on you that's not quite aware that that's what your plan is.
Yeah, this is by far the best battle on the track. 5 cars under a blanket, just working for that sixth and 5th positions while still under green flag conditions, this close to green flag pit stop. So anything can happen with these now 6 drivers under a blanket.
Yeah, these guys are really starting to battle it out. Oh, that went sideways. What a save. What a save. And that's what I was talking about. He got down on the apron, and it looks like he actually kind of straddled the apron there. And in doing that, the right side tires are up on the banking and the left side tires aren't. And that can really upset the handling hard. Not to mention, he had a guy all over his back bumper. And so, you got to be careful when you make that move. But Gregory Joyner did a great job of holding on to that and Nicholas Goen did a great job at staying off of him and not helping finish turn him around.
And while all this stuff is going on, you got Dean Brummett running away from them, and he's up in fourth. You got Daniel Balder another second and a half ahead. So these guys are actually about 5 seconds behind the leaders now.
Yeah, just trying to get what they can get right now, Sean. And we have Joey making a pass for the lead here. I wonder if David's getting ready to come down pit road.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason that would happen. Nope, see, we're wrong. And he just skips right by pit road once more.
Yeah, he may have backed out of his idea to come down pit road there because I think that's the 11 car that's behind him right now. I'm not exactly sure. I believe that's Dustin Scruggs behind him.
It is.
Dustin Scruggs had a big run. He's got that damage on the right front. We saw him on pit road earlier. Well, he had a big run there, and David may have thought better of coming down pit road as to not get ran over. But we'll see if he comes down this time. You see Dustin kind of goes to the top line, so David may have gave him a heads up.
Yep, and David Duke
exactly what's happening.
Coming into pit. Get some new fuel, new tires.
Looks like a very clean entrance there for David, and now you gotta that Jovi's seen David Duke come down. You gotta wonder if this is the first leader who's actually come down pit road. You gotta wonder how many guys are going to follow him as to not let him undercut everybody else.
Yeah, a lot of drivers coming down, but Jovi still leads this race. Or now he leads this race, let's put it that way. So Jovi leads this race. You see Daniel Balder right behind. Jovi's going to come in on pit road. So Daniel Balder is – oh, no, Jovi!
He's sitting on the pit road. He did a great job saving that, though. I think he can.
No, Dean Brummett runs into him.
Oh, man. I jinxed him.
Tough luck there.
Sean, I can't tell you how many times I've wrecked coming on the pit road. I feel so bad for him, man. It's so hard to do, and especially when you're the leader, you don't want – I mean, if you come down clean, you feel like you came down too slow. And that's an unfortunate deal for Jovi, but he may have to use that fast repair earlier than he wanted to here. And definitely a tough deal for him as he has been having a great race so far.
Yeah, Daniel Balder still has not pitted yet, so we're going to see who can get out of the pits first out of that big group that just pitted. Nathaniel Mon coming in. He was in 5th place as he comes into the pits. Michael Madden also pitting. And then Daniel Balder at some point, I mean, he's got to come in at some point. Otherwise, he's going to run out of fuel, Justin.
Yes. If you don't pit, you will run out of fuel.
You'll run out.
That's a real thing.
And Daniel looked like he was sliding there too.
Yeah, he got down pit road. That may be all that dirt experience there because he really sent it down into pit road. And I was going to say, Sean, we talked about short pitting. There's a flip side to that strategy, and that's staying out as long as you can because if you can lap this entire field pretty much and get a caution, you're going to be on fresher tires whenever you pit. And you're going to be ahead of these guys. So that may be a strategy we see is some of these guys in the back just trying to stay out. And right now, Nicholas Goen is still on track. Christopher Heller, Emerson Arden, Wade and Rayborn, all these guys are still hanging out on track as now we're going to see Nicholas Goen come on down pit road, but Heller is going to stay out.
Yep, so Heller will take the lead. Emerson Ardon will bring it in second right now. So all these drivers have started these pit road or these green flag stops. We have not touched on a couple of drivers that are running as independents tonight. So we've got Kevin Jobin and Michael Dion back here. And so these are a couple of our KMR Warrior drivers from the Truck Series. And so they are French Canadians. And so we are officially international now.
That's right. The Speed Racing International Network, as we have another taker here. That's Christopher Heller. He's going to pit out of the lead and turn it over to looks like I believe Dylan Patterson will
Dylan Patterson is going to take the lead as he comes around.
Looks like.
No, he pitted on lap 26. He's already pitted.
Okay.
Based on my scoring, at least.
Yeah, mine's jumping around right now, so I'm trying to get caught up here. But I tell you, so I think you're right, Sean. I think he was the guy we talked about undercutting, and so he is going to cycle out as the leader. He is going to be on older tires than David Duke by about 9 laps. So I imagine David should be able to run him down and get it out rather quickly, if I had to guess.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those lap times. In fact, here they are. And you can see David Duke catching up by about 0.6 of a second per lap right now.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure. Dylan Patterson, he was He started 22nd. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was running around the 17th position or so when he pitted. So if he can come out of this in the top 10 by the time the second pit cycle or caution comes out, whichever one happens first, it's a net gain for him.
And out there in the chat right now, Nick DeLuzalek saying, or DeLezaluk, sorry, is saying that, well, Hoke and Young are Canadian too. That is absolutely correct. So we've actually been international now for 2 weeks.
That's right. Well, Eric Hope has been around for a little bit more than 2 weeks, right? I think he raced at Auto Club, and that was about 3 weeks ago, right?
Oh, okay. 3 weeks we've been international.
Let me tell you this, we are international. It doesn't matter how long it's been, we're international. We're international, and we're racing at Chicagoland, and I'm broadcasting from Alabama, and you're in Tennessee, right? We're just all over the place. It's a great day to be alive.
And here we go. Dylan Patterson again on those older tires. David Duke going to make short work of him here. He's going to dive down to the inside, and he should be able to make it stick here.
Yeah, and Dylan Patterson knew exactly what was about to happen. No reason to fight it here. Just let him go. And so David Duke's back to the lead. And, Sean, let me tell you something. Give you a little insight. If David Duke can finish the race exactly where he's at, he'll be the winner.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And we'll find out if that happens. But Curtis Young trying to get right up there in second. He's going to try to pass Dylan to Patterson here very shortly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Sean, I'm excited to see the fact that we went through green flag stops and the field didn't break up all that much. We've still got some really good racing all throughout the field. And but David Duke, with Jovi's incident on pit road, also involving Dean Brummett, David Duke really benefited from that, and he has got a big lead, and it's still growing right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and find out exactly where Jovi is on the track.
I am showing that he is not on track right now.
Yeah, I seem to have lost him.
That's unfortunate because he had a fast repair, so I'm not exactly sure why he would have, unless something happened when he was exiting pit road. I'm going to see if I can't find out, Sean.
Oh, now I see him. Here he goes. He's blinking. He's blinking in and out. So he is in 21st position. So he is still out on the track, but going from the lead all the way back to 21st due to that unfortunate error on pit road.
Yeah, see, my scoring's got him all the way back in 38, so definitely my scoring's having a little bit of trouble. But, yeah, that's exactly right. A tough deal for Jovi. As Dean Brummett may have just gotten in the fence there just now. I'm not sure, but over there in 3 and 4, he was mighty wide there coming through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Dean Brummett currently scoring in the 5th position. David Duke kind of running away with this thing for the time being. He's got about a second and a half on second place Curtis Young.
Yeah, and you know what? They pitted on the same lap, too, so I don't think tires are going to be able to help Curtis Young run him down. Daniel Bowdler, he's on 3-lap fresher tires, but Dylan Patterson, Dean Brummett is on 1-lap fresher tires, so really not a whole lot of difference here, and I think David Duke should be feeling pretty comfortable up there in the captain's chair.
Yeah, you can see the distance there between first and second place, second and a half. But when you're looking out that window, you're just trying to figure out how that could possibly get closer and closer.
Yeah, you don't think of a second and a half being a very long time, but when you're running 175 mile an hour around this racetrack, it is hard to make up that time. I mean, that is a good bit of time at those kind of speeds.
So out there in the chat right now, Nick DeLuzalek, I see I did it again. Nick DeLezaluk. Sorry about that, Nick. Is saying that Hoke spent 3 days working on his and Young's paints, and so there you go. You can see a good view of that with that Canada decal right up there on the front and the Canadian flag on the car itself.
Yeah, when he applies that pressure to you, all you see right there in your rearview mirror is Canada. I can't think of anything more intimidating than Canada.
Some of the friendliest people I've ever talked to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when he drives by you, he just comes over voice chat and says, "Excuse me, eh?" No, man, he's in our Discord with us at R&D Motorsports, and we got to talking about hockey in Canada and how cold it is, all kinds of fun stuff, man. It's really cool. It's one of the cool things about iRacing. You get to make these connections with people that you otherwise would have never met. And so that's really cool, man. It's really fun getting to hang out with some of these guys on the racetrack and off the racetrack. And looking forward to possibly meeting some of these guys. one day we'll see if we can get together and get a race in eventually.
Yeah, Daniel Bodler has moved into second position, and he is tracking down David Duke.
Yeah, I've been watching that too. That gap is starting to shrink, but one thing I have to guess is that Daniel's probably pushing it a little harder than he would like to have to. It'll be interesting if he gets to David, if maybe he lays off and maybe just kind of plans for the next stop. But the cross chopsticks are up. We're at halfway right now, Sean. This race is flying by as we have had 0 cautions to start this season off for these guys.
No, don't jinx it now. But Daniel Bodler really putting on a show here. He is gaining 0.3 of a second per lap. And again, you said that he may be burning up his tires. And honestly, Daniel will tell you that he is not the best at saving tires, but he would much rather be up front and know that other people have to catch him than save those tires and wait till the end for him to catch them.
Well, not to mention, if he can get out front here, he went 38 laps on the first run there. That's the longest we saw in the top out of the guys in the top 5. So if he gets out front, maybe he doesn't wait that long. We saw guys pit, as early as 25, 26 laps into that run. So maybe he gets up here, burns his stuff up, and then short pits to not only track down David Duke on track, but then to undercut him in pit road. So it's interesting to see what his strategy is.
Well, it looks like he's going to take the low side and try to get past Duke here, and he likely will on this next turn. So Daniel Bodler to the lead.
Yeah, David Duke's going to set up the crossover here. I was surprised David Duke didn't make him fight for that a little bit more than he did, just because, to run him down, he had to have used up his stuff a little bit. So if you make him fight for it, make him burn it up a little bit more. But he lets him go here. Not going to apply too much pressure on him.
Well, the other thing that Daniel Bodler has to be careful for is David Duke is technically his boss.
That's right, too. I didn't think about that. He just passed the boss man, didn't he? Oh, man. Fun inter-team relationships we got going on out front. So be interesting to see how they race each other down towards the end if it's still these two up front. But right now, it's just these two hanging out, battling it out so far.
So I think we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern here, because last night you had Michael Madden, who won the Sparkle and Shine sponsorship the previous week. He won the truck race. And now you have Daniel Bodler, who won the Sparkle and Shine sponsorship last week in the Xfinity Series, and he's leading this race. I think Sparkle and Shine might be the answer.
It might be the answer. Some of these guys might need to be giving Sparkle and Shine a call here, see if they can't slap their decal on their car for next week's race. Yeah, it's so far so good for them. But hey, look, we got a long way to go, Sean. Still got 45 laps to go, and there's a lot of positions to be gained for a lot of these guys.
Another one of their teammates, R&D Motorsports. This is number 10, Christopher Heller, back here with Dylan Patterson. And again, Dylan was the one that short pitted back on lap 26. Christopher Heller pitted on lap 40, so his tires are much fresher, and he blows right by him.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see maybe what is Dylan Patterson going to do with his strategy here. He's short pitted. We know you can go almost 40 laps, so he can stretch this out to be a one-stop race. But if he goes, maybe he could go ahead and pit again and just kind of go ahead and commit to the short stop or the short pit strategy. And like I said, if he can hang out in the top 10 by the time he pits again, that's a net gain. And he's still hanging out. He's in 8th place, and he's up 14 spots from when he started. So far, it's working for him.
Oh, we have a caution
on the racetrack.
Cody Havens sideways on the track. All right. Well, we finally get our first wreck replay. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what happened to Cody.
Yeah, and like I was just saying with Dylan Patterson, that is exactly what he wanted to see. He picked up a lot of track position through that plan right there. Yeah, it looked like Devin Zimmerman had a run on the bottom, and Cody Havens just didn't quite see him have that big run. And maybe expecting him to dive a little bit lower there and send him up into the outside wall, and that's going to be a fast repair going for Cody.
Well, and hardly anybody has used their fast repair, so, more than halfway through the race, that's not a bad thing.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That's exactly what you want to save, hold on to those things. And, yeah, just watching that replay there, it looks like I think Cody probably knew he was there, but maybe expected Devin to dive it a little bit lower. But Devin knows he can't. Look, we're late in a run here. And if he dives too far down to the corner, it won't stick, and then he's going to slide up into Cody anyways. So just a tough deal for those two guys right there, but definitely Cody Haven's got the worst end of the stick.
You can see Devin Zimmerman diving down, and Cody's just there. So both of them will probably have to use a fast repair.
Yeah, that's some pretty severe damage on the right front for Devin Zimmerman, and that's pretty much the exact place you don't want to have any damage is up on that right front.
So everybody coming into pit. Daniel Baldler leading the way. And we will see who wins the race off of pit road. Oh, Aaron Gerwitz looks like he missed his pit just by a little bit there. And you got David Duke here towards the front because of his high qualifying position. But here comes Daniel Baldler in that 6. David Duke beats him off of pit road.
Yeah, that's huge there. I mean, to be able to control the restarts, we saw the jump that Gregory Joyner got there to start this race. So that's important there. You can really put some space between you and the rest of the field to get this thing started when we go back green.
So David Duke, Daniel Baldler going to lead this thing back to the green. And then we have Curtis Young, Daniel Baldler, and David Duke's teammate in third. Nick Gowen back here as Bronco Motorsports in fourth.
Yeah, and look at fifth place. Marshall Stanley is sitting in fifth place. We haven't talked about him at all tonight. He's up 12 spots from his starting spot of 17th. Remember, I talked about him in the pre-race a little bit. A guy I expect to be able to compete for some of these wins. It'd be interesting to see, did he take 2 tires here? It looks like his pit time is about the same as everyone else's. So it'd be interesting to see, what he can do with this track position.
Yeah, never look past Marshall Stanley. And let's go back and look at Joby here. So Joby is back in 18th position after all the stuff that he went through on pit road last time around. And so we'll see if he can work his way up back through the front. But then take a look at Dean Brummett. And so Dean Brummett back in 27th position. And I'm showing that he was in the pits for a minute. So it looks like he was getting some repairs done.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing there, Sean. I'm showing that almost actually a minute and a half just about. So interested to see what exactly Dean had going on. Must have been some damage he had. But remember, I told you, it looked like he might have gotten up into the fence there in 3 and 4, so that could very well be the problem there for him. And but he saved a fast repair by go ahead and getting the damage fixed. So we'll see how that decision pays off for him.
Well, my question is, did he save a fast repair? Because if you come into the pits the first time around under green flag conditions and you didn't uncheck the fast repair button, then he may have used that fast repair on accident.
Yeah, but he didn't get up into the fence until after the green flag stopped. So if there wasn't any damage to fix, even if that fast repair is checked, it won't use it if there's nothing to fix. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's the fun of it, right? We have no idea, so we'll see what happens. It very well may be a problem. He may have had a little bit of damage we didn't know about and used his fast repair, and then he didn't have one to use that time.
And you may have just heard on the broadcast, Daniel Baldler was cutting his car off, and there he is again. He's cutting his car off, doing everything he can to save every drop of fuel. I think he might take a chance here and try to go 39 laps.
Yeah, probably the right move here. I think David has been doing the same thing. When we go green here, we're going to have 39 laps to go. We saw Daniel went 38 on the first green flag run there, so he knows that's about as far as you can push it. So we'll see what happens. It would be interesting if we get a fuel mileage race out of this thing. I think one more caution would get everybody in that window, though. Everybody would be fine if we had one more caution, but it would be interesting to see if this thing stays green, who can save the fuel to have an opportunity to win this race.
Man, so much green flag stuff going on. We haven't even looked at the chat in a little while, so watch Goen. Sneaky, he'll win this. He's been looking good. That's from Jack Teddy out there in the chat. And then we've got, pace car's going to dive off, so we're right back to green flag racing. David Duke is going to lead the way as we go green once again.
Yeah, Daniel Baldler did a great job hanging on to the outside here. He's going to be able to get down to the bottom and still be on the back bumper of David Duke as David is going to lead the field down into turn number 1. And you see these guys are getting mostly single file except for one. I believe that's Nicholas Goen on the outside trying to pick up some spots.
And so front three are technically R&D Motorsports. David Duke is racing as an independent in this race because he races in our Cup Series, but he is a member of R&D Motorsports there in the Cup Series. So top three are R&D Motorsports. And then you have Marshall Stanley here at the number 25 trying to move into third position here.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, man. He picked up a lot of spots, and now that he's got the track position, we'll see if he can do anything with it. Daniel Bowdler is still harassing David Duke as we head down the back straightaway. David Duke is going to lead the field, thunder down into turn number 3. Be interesting to see. We've got some bump drafting going on a little further back in the field.
Daniel Bowdler wants that lead back
badly.
Got
trouble, turn 4, big wreck, turn 4. I can't tell who's in it, though.
Let's see, Emerson Ardon. Emerson Ardon is sideways on the track. And we are back under caution.
That collected about 3 or 4 guys there, Sean.
We're going to go back and we're going to see what happened there with another wreck replay. And right now, Emerson Ardon was just kind of all by himself. And then, oh, here we go. There it is. That's the number 38. That's Jamie Plurd that just kind of got to the back of him. Then Emerson,
tore up a lot of good cars.
Yeah, it looked like he may have gotten a hold of probably 2 of his teammates there as well. So you can see the number 57. Yeah. That's Emerson Ardon. And then let's see if Zimmerman makes it past. So that's his teammate. But, the number 5, that's Derek De Silva. That's his teammate. He did not make it past.
Yeah, that just looked like another one of those deals, similar to that first wreck we saw. I'm thinking that time Ardon may not have been able to see that car coming up on his inside in the mirror there, and kind of arced his corner entry there, and then next thing you know, the 38's already there. So tough deal. What a job of the 4 car to get around that mess. So that's huge to be able to not get involved in that and save that fast repair if you've still got it, and if you don't have it, it's even bigger.
Yeah, the 31 of Greg Olnick was involved in that as well. We're gonna try to see this from Greg Olnick's point of view. And you'll see that he's just got absolutely nowhere to go. You can't see anything there. And then all of a sudden, you got no place to go.
Yeah, you pointed out, when you're trailing a guy that close, you can't see through the car in front of you. And even though these things have the small spoilers, I mean, there's still the rest of the race car you've got to see around, and you just can't. So all you see is smoke, and you kind of just close your eyes and hope for the best there. And unfortunately for Olnick, it didn't work out.
You know, if I'm in the back of the pack here, to be completely honest, I'm coming down pit road, and that's what everybody from 13th on down did. They came down pit road, they went ahead and topped off on fuel, got fresh tires again, and so now these top 12 cars are going to have 6-lap older tires, and they're going to be struggling with fuel mileage as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sean. I think at a certain point in the back of the field, like you said, if you're back there, you might as well go ahead and get some Mr. Feel Goods and fill up on racing fuel, because you don't know if this thing stays green. You're not exactly sure can these leaders make it. I mean, like I said, I thought they needed only one more caution to be able to save enough, but you just don't know. It's hard to calculate that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how much saving has to go on, and if you're on fresher tires and the leaders are saving fuel, you could run them down and get around them.
And out there in the chat, Jonathan Byer is saying if anyone came in and topped off, they might make it to the end. That is absolutely correct. That's what we're just talking about there. Austin Reedy saying my money's on Goen. He is the closer. And so Austin Reedy, one of Bronco Motorsports' stable of drivers as well. And then Nick DeLezeluke. I am really going to get that, Nick, I promise. So that's the 3rd time I've messed up his name. Saying, let's go, Young. Pick up the pace, Hoke. So basically he's a good friend of these two and always out there in the chat. So we appreciate everybody being there. 51 viewers going on right now. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, because we have literally 58 more races this season that we are broadcasting.
Yeah, Sean, and this is going to be great racing like this all year long. The intensity is going to continue to ramp up here tonight for these guys. We're down to 34 laps to go, and we just had our second caution. It'll be interesting to see, how antsy are these guys going to get, especially if your name isn't Duke or Bowdler, because you've been looking at those guys leading this entire race. But Sean, do you want to make some picks here? Here we are coming down to the end. Let's, who do you think's going to get this thing?
I'm going to make a really weird pick here because I think that we're going to go green the rest of the way. And if that is the case, I've got Zachary Taylor. He's back here in 13th position, but he's got the freshest tires, towards the front of the pack. And so I think that he can get there to the front, and he doesn't really have to save fuel as much as those guys up front.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Sean, I don't think we're going to go green the rest of the way. And David's going to be mad at me because he's my boss too if we're talking about R&D Motorsports. But I think Daniel Bowdler has got the upper hand, man. I have a hard time betting against that guy. He's actually one of the guys I think is going to compete for this championship, and I know he doesn't want to let David Duke, a guy from the Cup Series, come steal the win here at Chicago. Pace one's going to dive off. These guys are going to get the green flag this time. It's going to be 33 to go when they pass the stripe. David Duke is going to lead the field. Green flag is out, and he's got to jump. As it looks like that inside line may have gotten bottled up just a little bit. We've got one on the apron already moving out of the way.
Oh, you got people sliding everywhere.
Back there.
And that's Jovi. Jovi's moved up into 9th position now. So he's right there behind Michael Madden in the number 15, and the Madden crew has shown up in the chat. So welcome, Madden fans. He is up in 8th position and working his way forward.
Yep, we're going to be 3 wide now. Jovi is in the middle as he's trying to pick up as many spots as he can, Sean. Trying to make up for that earlier mistake on pit road. But right now it's still David Duke, and Curtis Young is now going to take away second from Daniel Bowdler. He's looking for the lead.
And earlier we talked about R&D Motors. Oh, no, here we go. Caution. Trying to find where that caution is here. Sean Dice. Sean Dice,
okay.
So we're going to go back and find out what happened with Sean Dice here. What I was going to say is up front, you had literally 4 R&D Motorsports in the top 4.
That's exactly right. And, Sean, I don't want to brag, but I'm 1 for 1 on predictions. So.
You're on your way, man. You are on your way. So this one, Derek De Silva and Sean Dice kind of get into it here.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Dion may have been involved in that as well. He's going to pit there. I'm not exactly sure.
We'll have to go and check on him, but kind of an interesting deal there. Not really sure. Well, let's see if we can get a better view.
3 wide off the corner.
Oh, that's a terrible view. Let's try that again.
It's a 5 car.
That's Derek De Silva.
Yeah, Derek De Silva.
And the 55 was involved as well. That's Michael Amenti.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Sean Dice just kind of cleared himself off of, the front of De Silva's nose here or what. This is going to be a good shot of it here. Yeah, it looks like Derek De Silva went to that inside line and thought about maybe going to the apron and changed his mind, and then Sean Dice was also kind of thinking he was going to go to the apron. Not sure exactly what happened there, but a tough deal for both of those guys, no doubt.
And one more time, let's. I was going to try to zoom in on a couple other guys, but yeah, it's just there's not enough room to race 3 wide, much less almost race 4 wide there.
Yeah, it's just so hard to tell if the guy who's next to you is going to use that apron or not, and you almost expect him to because everybody else around you has been doing it, but you can't fault the guy if he doesn't do it, and especially having computer spotters as opposed to real life spotters like most people probably don't have. That can definitely play into incidents like that because you're not exactly sure. All you're hearing is inside. You don't know how inside he is. Is he hanging on your quarter panel? Is he a few cars off of you? So all of that stuff kind of plays into those incidents.
Well, let's see if we can't get David Duke into the chat here really quick and see if we can say hello to him. And actually, let's see if we can find him out in the chat here. So there he is. Let's see if I can grab him and pull him up into the booth. Hey, David Duke, this is Sean and Justin up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
Going pretty good, boys. Just trying to save a little bit of that petro.
Absolutely. I bet you're smiling ear to ear right now because you are R&D Motorsports, and then your guys in the Xfinity League that are R&D Motorsports are running 2, 3, and 4 right behind you.
Yeah, we're having a pretty good night so far for the first 72 laps. We got to close it out, though.
Well, man, so I mean, I know you're trying to save the petrol. I know obviously these cautions are good for you at this point. How short do you think you are, if you're short at all?
I don't know. I think I'm going to be about 3/4 of a lap to the good, but that could change. Right now on some of my overlays, max fuel consumption, I'm 3 gallons short, but average fuel consumption, I'm 2 gallons to the good. So once it shakes out and we get to run some green flag laps here, I'll be able to gauge a little bit better. But I'm married to the strategy. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not here for points. I'm here for money.
Definitely.
If you ain't talking money, I don't want to talk. Hey, David, listen, man, you got some stout competition behind you, and like Sean pointed out, it's our R&D guys, man. But Daniel Bowdler's looked great all night long. Do you think he's the biggest threat to you?
Yeah. I kind of screwed up there on that first run. I wasn't. I don't know. I missed a couple of turns and let Jovi get back in front of me. So at that time, I took the strategy to go ahead and pit once he got around me. But then Bowdler stretched his run out about 3 laps more than I did, and he wound up catching me there. But he wasn't able to really pull away, and I was kind of snaking him and stalking him. So, yeah, I would say him absolutely. Curtis is no joke. My Canadian friends, they're no joke, man. We're strong, and we're going to race hard. We're going to race clean, and we'll let it shake out here at the end. Hope you're feeling all right there, Justin. I know you got the COVID, but you're in our thoughts and prayers.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man. Hey, we've been doing good up here, enjoying the race, and I'm hanging in there. So you need to do the same thing and bring home the win here for R&D.
Hey, quite the race so far.
Yeah, man, it's been great to watch, man. I'm pulling for you, Sean. I can't say the same thing, but I am. So.
Stop that. So yeah, get me in trouble there. All right, man, we're gonna drop it back down there in the chat. Good luck the rest of the way, buddy.
All right, thanks.
See, now you're trying to get me in trouble with people. What's going on?
No, man. Hey, listen, you picked a different guy. Listen, I'm loyal to my team, right? I mean, listen. I got to go for my team, but hey, I got 4 chances to get this thing right here based off how it's shaking out right now.
Pretty much. Pace car's going to dive off. David Duke gets the restart. Curtis kind of gets a little antsy there, but everything works out just fine as all 4 of R&D Motorsports get going.
Yeah, and somebody I'm looking at here, especially on this restart, is that 3 car of Jovi. He's up to 9th. He's continuing to kind of climb his way back into this thing, and if he can get up there, I think he becomes the biggest threat to David Duke. But we'll see what happens. He's looking to the bottom here, and he is getting blocked hard by Michael Madden down on the inside going into 3. And look at Michael Madden. We talked about what is he going to be able to do tonight. He hadn't had a whole lot of practice. He's sitting there in 8th place. He's trying to get a top 10 out of this thing.
Yeah, just in front of him, you got Zachary Taylor up in 6th. Now, he's got a little bit fresher tires than these other guys and a little bit more fuel also. And just his driving style, he loves to dive into that corner and just take that spot away from people. So watch out for him. He's on his way.
Yeah, he's going to go to the bottom here. He's going to try to make it 3 wide on the inside. He is going to do it. See if it sticks. Oh, they're close to touching. That got really, really tight, but it's going to work out for him as he gets a 2 for 1 there in 3 and 4.
Yep, he's got the newest tires out there right now in that top 5, so 6-lap newer tires, but now he's got to compete with all 4 of R&D Motorsports up here at the front.
Yeah, but don't look now. Jovi has gotten around a couple more guys. He is up to 7th now, and he's continuing to climb his way up there, so him and Zachary Taylor are marching to the front, and Zachary Taylor is going to try to pick up that 4th spot from Christopher Heller.
Yeah, Marshall Stanley has been up here in this top 10 pretty much the entire race now, just being quiet the entire time, and that's kind of his way. He just very slow and methodical, but here he is up in the top 10 trying to get into that top 5 spot.
Yeah, all these guys now, like I said, the intensity is ramping up. These guys know it's go time. They're going to start pushing. And listen, Sean, we've had a couple of back-to-back cautions. If you're in the back, you maybe push your tires a little harder, expecting to get another quick caution. If it doesn't come, it's going to hurt you. These guys in front, they have to kind of manage that, especially the guys who aren't on the freshest tires like Zachary Taylor is, as he's starting to put pressure on Daniel Bowdler, and he's going to want that 3rd position here shortly, possibly this time by, as Daniel throws a huge block down in turn number 1.
Yeah, but that kind of gets him side by side with his teammate just a little bit up there, so that's going to slow him down a little bit. But keep an eye on Zachary Taylor because, like I said, he loves that dive move.
Yeah, but Zachary can't get baited into that move too many times because I think Zach did exactly what Daniel wanted him to do right there. And so every time he tries that and it doesn't gain him a spot, it just hurts him, and it's going to even out those tires. And eventually tires plateau. You may have older tires, but they start to kind of even out. It looks like he may have just gave Daniel Ballard the bumper there going into one.
Yeah, he's just trying to work his way around. And Daniel, every lap that he can't get around Daniel is another lap that he can't catch the front.
Yeah, Zach's got to really set this thing up and try to get to his inside. But honestly, with Zach's tires being he's going to go to the bottom here this time. I was surprised he wasn't able to try to at least make the outside work one time, but he's not going to have to. Be interesting to see how hard Daniel Ballard squeezes him as they go down into one.
Yeah, and they touch.
Woo. Daniel does not want to give up that spot. He knows Zach has the fresher tires. He knows Zach can pull away from him if he lets him get around him, and it looks like Zach finally completed the pass that time.
Yeah, but Daniel's got to be careful, too, because he's going to run the edge on that fuel, and so the harder he races, the less likely he is to make it to the finish line.
Yeah, but, Sean, I think with these cautions that we've had here, you save the fuel that you're going to save. It's time to go. I think you've kind of done what you can with the fuel deal, and kind of like what David Duke said, he's married to the strategy now. Don't talk about fuel anymore. I wouldn't even look at my fuel calculator anymore. I'm going, and if I make that, we have a caution. And that's going to be Devin Zimmerman again, Daniel Keith Jr., Sean Dias may be all involved, Jamie Ford. I'm believing it's going to be a pretty big one here.
Yeah, Wayne Rayburn involved as well. So lots of damage back in the back. And like you were just saying, that fuel, that entire strategy is out the window now because that should be enough to allow those guys to make it to the end.
Yeah, but I'm possibly looking at pitting here. I mean, Sean, it's been quite a few laps since these guys have been down pit road. So if we have another deal, we're kind of like 13 on back pits. I mean, they're going to have a huge advantage at this point.
Yes, they will. And so I would almost expect to see those front cars come on in. And so here we go. Devin Zimmerman, it looks like, is that Gary Patterson? Or Dylan Patterson, sorry. Dylan Patterson just gets up underneath him. And that's what starts everything. Michael Madden got a little touch in there as well, so he might have a little bit of damage also.
Yeah, quite a few cars involved in that one, unfortunately, and a tough deal there for everybody involved. And once again, I think at least Devin Zimmerman, he does not have any fast repairs left. Oh, wow, David Duke just got absolutely hung out on the racetrack all by himself.
Oh, no.
Everybody but him just came down pit road. That is probably going to do it for David Duke.
Oh, boy. And so, and I wonder what the team strategy – actually, you know what? That doesn't make sense because he is not in the team chat right now because he's an independent driver. So I'm not sure if he knew what his teammates were doing or not.
Yeah, I just imagine being all the guys on the team sitting there collaborating, going, "Hey guys, we're going to leave our boss out to dry here."
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, that's a tough deal for David Duke. But I mean, that's the bad part of being in the lead here in this situation. David did not want to see that caution because, like I said, it kind of opens up pit road for a lot of guys. I mean, we had a few guys stay out, but they've been way in the back. Nathaniel Mann, Kevin Jobin, Curtis Young. These guys were like, never mind, I believe Curtis just pitted, so just two other guys stayed out. The rest of these guys are lap cars here. So yes. David Duke doesn't have a whole lot of a buffer between him and all those Mr. Feelgoods behind him.
They are rolling the dice. Actually, let's get back to live view here. So they are definitely rolling the dice. Nathaniel Mann and Kevin Jobin rolling dice with David Duke. Oh, and no, that's not them.
That's
Kevin Jobin.
Open it up for the lap cars there.
Yeah, Kevin Jobin is actually going to come in to get some new fresh tires. So only two cars on this lead lap that have not pitted, and that's David Duke and Nathaniel Mann.
Yeah, I don't think there's a path to victory here for David Duke anymore. There's a buzz phrase we've heard a few times over the last few months.
Yes, there is.
It's that's a tough deal for David, man. You're a sitting duck. I mean, if he goes, there's a good chance that a lot of guys stay out just because he goes. So, kind of reminds me of that Coke 600 where Chase Elliott was he was the leader, with 2 to go, and he came down pit road, and everybody behind him stayed out. And so it's one of those deals. You're just kind of sitting duck there at that situation.
Yeah, a few people to touch on here. So Michael Madden, our winner from last night, has dropped back to 19th position. Then we talk about Jovi a lot. Let's see where he's at out here on the track. There he is. He's up in ninth. Yeah, he's up in ninth position. So he's got a good shot at this still. Zachary Taylor, my pick, after everything that happened there, he is up in fourth with fresh tires. But Curtis Young, a lot of our crowd out there in the chat are saying that Curtis Young is the one to look at, and he is. He's up here in third position with fresh tires. He might have the inside track.
Yeah. I mean, because he's going to get to be right behind David Duke on the restart here. So chances are Curtis Young will be inside David Duke for the lead as they head down the back straightaway. So, And David kind of knows what he's got here with the old tires, so I don't see him fighting Curtis too hard, especially with him being teammates with him and knowing that he's got Zachary Taylor, who's going to be right there trying to take this one away from R&D Motorsports. But Daniel Bowler is sitting in fifth too, so he's going to have an opportunity to this. He's been the guy who's been able to challenge David Duke. I wouldn't count out Jovi either. You pointed to him; he's in ninth, and I think right now I want to be on that bottom line. As we come to 15 to go when we take the green flag, this is where the intensity really, really ramps up. I mean, it's time to go. If you weren't going yet, it's definitely time to go now. So this is where you're going to start seeing moves that, you probably wouldn't have made, but now you don't have a choice but to. These guys want to win this race, and you want to start that season off with a win, not just a good solid top 10 or a good solid top 5. It's time to go for the win here.
Man, everybody out there in the chat is making their picks right now. You got people going for Curtis Young, people still rooting on David Duke, even though he's on really, really old tires. You got Daniel Bodler, some people going for him, some people going for Zach Taylor. All these guys out in the audience right now loving this race. But here we go, David Duke and Nathaniel Mon on old tires, and David actually gets a really good restart for what he's got.
Yeah, that's about all he's going to be able to get here. Is he's on 24 lap older tires than the rest of these guys behind him outside of Nathaniel Mon, who is he's on 18 lap older tires. But here we go, Curtis Young. Like I said, I expect him to be on the bottom.
Oh, we got somebody at the wall. That's Nathaniel.
Somebody's on the inside wall.
That's Nathaniel Mon.
That's a big one. Olnick is in it. Looks like Marshall Stanley is going to be involved in this one.
We're still green.
We're 3 wide. Got contact in 4. Oh, looks like everybody's going to hold it together, and Curtis Young is going to go to the point here. Daniel Bowler is going to be on his inside.
David Duke still holding
firm. Oh, we got
one
in the grass down here.
That's Dylan Patterson in the grass, I believe. Dylan Patterson.
Dylan Patterson. No, he was a different one. It was somebody else. I didn't catch who it was. Oh, wow.
It may have been Cody Havens. We may have missed that replay, but Curtis Young and Daniel Bowler side by side for the lead.
Yeah, we got one slow on the apron there in 3. We got one on pit road with Greg.
Caution. Woo. Greg. That may have been Greg Olnick that lost his engine there and basically stopped on the track. So he was on the apron, but I think iRacing decided to go ahead and call it.
I'm showing Dylan Patterson on my events, Marshall Stanley, Cody Havens, Greg Olnick, and just a whole bunch of guys. Man, it got wild there for a second. You're going to have a lot of replays to watch.
It looks like Greg Olnick, his engine just completely blew up on him. Yeah, you'll see the puff of smoke here.
Yep, and unfortunately, it looks like he tried to stop there and try to reset as quick as he could, but unfortunately, iRacing was quicker and get the caution out. So
yeah,
it's a tough deal. Probably the best though. You never know. Somebody gets spun right there and hits him, and just makes a wreck bigger than it had to be. Here goes. This is where Cody Havens. Yeah, he goes through the grass. Him and the 8 car there.
Of Dylan Patterson. Yep.
Yeah, Dylan Patterson. It's a tough deal, man. It's a frenzy, man. I mean, there's blood in the water. Every time somebody slips up in front of you, you got to try to make the move, and just a tough deal.
And then I was trying to get Marshall Stanley on there as well because he went off track, but it looks like he blinked off track, and so that is why we don't have that replay. But all right, well, here we go. 12 laps to go. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want to be named Daniel Bowler or Curtis Young.
Well, keep an eye on Zachary Taylor. He is right there with him now, up in 3rd position. You got David Duke on the outside of the 2nd row in 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I think David Duke at this point is a non-factor. He just kind of benefited from all the mayhem and the chaos, and nobody was able to really do a whole lot there. But yeah, I mean, I think you've got three guys up there who have shown their fast all race long at different points in this race, and they're all here at the end. And we've got 12 to go. I believe we'll have 10 to go when we take the green flag. So it's going to be an exciting finish here, but. I mean, like I said, it's hard to pass, Sean, so you've got to be near the front here. And so I think those three guys are probably the favorites, but, you still have Christopher Heller. You've got Joshua Marcy. I don't think we've mentioned his name, but he's up there. He wants to win this thing. So it's a lot of hungry guys up here.
Yeah, we have not mentioned Josh Marcy at all, and here he is in the number 35 car. And there he goes. He blinked right out. And so that happens a lot of times here.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side of being able to race on the internet. But yeah, you got Jovi pulled up there. I don't think we're done talking about him. He somehow got through all that mayhem because it was all right there in front of him. But yeah, Jovi's going to have an opportunity here, I think, to pick up some more spots. And as these guys battle it out up in front of him, Jovi could benefit from that and really close the gap and have a shot to win this race.
Well, it is exciting to see exactly what happens coming up. Don't miss this last part of the race. Anybody that hasn't jumped on yet, call them up. This is going to be a fantastic finish.
Yeah, and somebody else I see up there is Aaron Gerwitz. I'm showing he's in 7th position right now. Earlier in the race, I pointed out he was running that middle high groove. That could come to benefit him here because guys are going to scramble to get to the bottom, and if he has some experience being able to run that, a lane up or so, he could make that work and pick up some spots that way. So, going to be interesting to see how guys can maneuver around each other as we do get the 1 to green this time. So it's going to be 9 laps here to get the checkered flag, but. Sean, something tells me we're not done seeing that yellow flag.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're not. Now, take a look at Dean Brummett here up in 13th position. He's had his struggles today, but he is back up in the 13th position, and he's still got a shot at this. I mean, honestly, Justin, there are 30 cars on the lead lap right now. Anybody has a shot.
Yeah, but if this thing stays green, Sean, I don't think anybody further back than maybe the top 8 or 9 have a realistic shot. Another thing that bothers me about Dean Brummett's chances is that right front damage he has there on that car. That's really going to hurt his ability to turn, and that could be a problem for him. But you never know. Sometimes the iRacing damage model can be funny, and it doesn't hurt him too bad, or maybe it helps him. Who knows?
So Curtis Young, Daniel Bodler, side by side for R&D Motorsports. You got Zachary Taylor up there for Tank Racing, and then you have David Duke, the captain of R&D Motorsports and R2D2 Motorsports and Team SRN. So he's actually got 3 teams that he's captaining, and the captain himself up there in 4th.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a factor in the sense that he is going to be on older tires, so he may not be the guy you want to get stuck behind here as we get the green flag. Daniel Bowler gets a great jump. Curtis Young needs to cover that bottom if he's clear, but I'm not sure he's going to be clear. It's going to be tight, but he is going to be down to the bottom as we head down to the 1.
Oh, and already some bumping between Zachary Taylor and Curtis Young.
David Duke shoots up the outside. He might have gotten some contact from somebody. And yeah, Zachary Taylor, when Curtis Young dropped down in front of him, Zachary Taylor was not going to cut him any slack, but I think it hurt Zach a lot more than it hurt Curtis Young.
And we were 3 wide there for a little while. Everybody knows it's go time.
Yeah, and to point out those tires too, Sean, David Duke, I'm pretty sure, is about back in like 15th right now.
He is.
Oh, we got caught in front. Trouble in the front stretch. David Duke's in it.
It's David Duke, yep.
Yeah, oh man, they're still wrecking. They are still wrecking. Man, oh man, how things have went sour for David Duke.
Man, such a great race, and then that. So Emerson Ardon involved, Kevin Winker involved. Let's see if we can't.
The good news for David, if that motor can hold on and limp him around, I'm pretty sure he has a fast repair. I don't see any point he would have used it. So, and he's going to be on the freshest tires, so maybe able to pick up some spots.
So he was running side by side. Oh wow!
Yeah, he didn't expect the 57 to slide up there. It's a tough deal for him.
Yeah, just a rough hit there.
That's what I was saying, Sean. I mean, those old tires, he he's kind of just at that point, no fault of his own. He's a moving chicane, you know. And you just kind of got to, if you're everybody else, you got to work your way around him. But then on the flip side of that, he wants to maintain as many spots as he can. So it's a tough situation for David and Emerson there, but it happens. That's part of racing, and especially when you go to one of these 1.5-mile tracks where you can use that apron. As we say, it looks like we got some collateral damage from this right here. I mean, somebody had to hit there.
And so Kevin Winker from his view, and Emerson Ardon just coming down the track, nowhere to go.
Couldn't see him through the smoke at all.
And like we said at the very beginning of the broadcast, thank goodness that sheet metal and tires here are free.
Yes, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very thankful that they don't have to help the guys in the body shop this week. I don't know if you ever played any of the old NASCAR games. I think it was NASCAR Thunder 03, but when you tear up your car enough, your crew chief come on the radio and say, you ain't making the guys in the body shop real happy this week. And there's going to be some virtual fabricators who are not happy with how this one's going here towards the end. But as that's our 6th caution now, we've been under caution for 22 laps. And I think, Sean, we went through the first 60 without a caution.
Let's see if we can't get Daniel Baldwin, our leader, up here and talk to him and find out what's going on with him up front. Hey, Daniel, this is Justin and Sean up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, guys. What's up?
Man, it is good. We were talking a little earlier because there's kind of a pattern going on right now, and that is, Michael Madden won the Sparkle and Shine sponsorship last week, won the truck race this week. You won the Sparkle and Shine sponsorship last week, and now you're leading this race. What do you got left?
I think we got a pretty good car here for the finish. I've been trying to save my stuff a little bit here in case we keep getting grouped back up like this. So hopefully we got a little something here, be pretty cool to get Sparkle and Shine back in victory lane for the 4th straight time.
Well, man, it would be really good. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, I was going to say, Daniel, the guys behind you there, y'all headed off into 1. Curtis Young kind of squeezed down on Zachary Taylor, and that benefited you big time. How important is it to see those guys in your mirror battling each other out as you come to the finish?
Yeah, I think as we're coming down here, what are we going to go green with like 3 to go, I think? That'd be huge if those guys could get to battle and let me kind of open it up a little bit and make them have to drive back up here to me. So hopefully that can continue to be the trend. I know Zach's pretty good on these fresh tires, so he's going to be pretty tough looking to get by Curtis.
Well, man, what is the team chat? Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you about your pit road entrance there, man. It looked like I saw some flashes of your dirt racing experience when you come down on pit road on that green flag.
Yeah, I got in there a little hot there for that green flag pit stop, but got her woed down enough, thank goodness, so ended up being able to make a clean stop.
So I got to ask, what is the team chat like right now? You got 3 of the top 4 drivers in there right now. So what is being said back and forth? Anything?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Just kind of, trying to keep everybody posted on where you're at and make sure that if one of us gets a run on the other one, we're not screwing everybody up too bad, and just trying to be aware of where each other are at so that, we don't cause something amongst ourselves.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on a great race last week. Great job so far this week. Let's see if you can bring it home.
Yeah, I hope so, guys. Thank you.
Good luck, buddy.
All right. And so we will drop him back down into his booth. Hey, let's touch on somebody really quick. Let's take a look at Danny Setzer. So Danny, he started off way back in the pack. He started off all the way back in 39th position, and now he is up in 15th. He was actually 2 laps down at one point. Now he's back on the lead lap in the top 15.
Yeah, just one of those guys been hanging in there, man. Danny Setzer he doesn't give up. As long as that car is rolling, that motor is turning, man. He's going to keep fighting. And listen, he's racing for points here, and every point matters, man. When it comes down to playoff time, and you could be 2-3 points out of the cutoff. That could have been the 2-3 points that he earned here in Chicago. Battling it out, trying to hang in there and keep fighting. So, good deal for Danny here. Is he's going to try to pick up some more spots here and take the green flag when they have 3 laps to go.
Well, out there in the chat, Brandon Browning saying, hey, he's got the crew chief on this box. So Danny Setzer has Brandon Browning spotting for him and crew chiefing for him right now. So that is always a big benefit. But here we go. Pace car dives off. Daniel Baldler gets the restart, and you can hear the engine. He takes off.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Curtis Young is going to clear himself a little bit better in front of Zachary Taylor. And so, kind of what we were touching on with Daniel there. We got somebody spinning already. We're gonna.
Oh my goodness! Again. I believe it's. I think it was Sean Dice. I think I saw. I could be completely wrong on that.
I think it might have been Marshall Stanley. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's Sean Dice in the infield there.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird, Sean. Every time somebody spins, they blink out, man. It's been kind of unfortunate. We haven't been able to see exactly who's in what and what's going on.
Which could potentially be the cause of the spin.
Could be. We'll see.
So we got the rec replay up, and it looks like he just got a couple of guys involved. I did not see who the other. It may have been David Duke. No, I'm not sure. Let's go back and find out one more time here.
David would have some left front damage with how hard that hit was. I don't think it was him.
Oh, I cannot get a good view of this.
Oh, looks like whoever that was got kind of hooked just a little bit there, and we got somebody else.
So the 110, yeah, we're gonna try to get a better look at this because we just need to know who that was. That's the 141.
That's 89 though. I think that the 89 is gonna hook them. Yeah, just a little bit there.
So that was Kevin Jobin, the 141, and 89 is Brad Williams of Bronco Motorsports. So,
yeah, guys trying to fill the holes, man. You're coming down. You got 2 laps to go. You gotta take what you can get, and that's exactly what that was.
All right, so we're gonna get another shot at this thing.
This will be our first official green-white checker. It's gonna be 2 laps to go when we take the green flag. And for those who don't exactly know what a green-white checkered is, you're going to take the green flag. If you make it around to the white flag, the next flag ends the race, whether it's a caution or the checkered flag. If you don't make it, you get another caution. We'll line them up and do it again, and we'll have 3 attempts at that.
Yeah, nobody out here basically in danger of tires or fuel right now. Everybody, for the most part, pitted on lap 82. So we've got plenty of fuel, plenty of tires for these green-white checkers. So it's just down to the racing.
Yeah, Sean, and it's going to be really interesting to see, how this restart files out here up front, because this has got to be frustrating Zachary Taylor. I've been seeing him post in the race chat. He's kind of getting a little irritated because every time they get the green flag, he can't do anything because we get a caution right behind it. And so, he needs the full 2 laps we're going to get when we get the green flag.
And so this is where, if you're Zachary Taylor, between all these R&D Motorsports, you have to make something happen on this restart. You have to get a great restart right here, right now, if you want to have any shot at all at passing even one of these R&D Motorsports cars.
Yeah, and if Zachary Taylor can time this restart right, I would argue he's in a better position than Curtis Young, but he's got to get to the inside of Curtis Young and stay there. So it's going to be all about how good his restart is. Otherwise, Curtis Young can continue to drop down in front of him, and then Curtis Young is really in the best spot, outside of Daniel Bowden.
Yeah, he was not able to do that on that last restart. He was not able to get to the inside of Curtis Young, and that's why we're still 1 and 2, Daniel Bodler, Curtis Young, side by side.
That's exactly right. It's going to be real interesting to see who can capitalize here, because you don't know if you're going to get another shot. As far as you know, this is the last attempt. So we're going to see what happens. I believe we're going to get the 1-to-go signal when we come around this time. And, the guys who are competing for the win, like I said, they want to win. But if you're not competing for the win, if you're in, 10th, 11th, 12th, you want to pick up as many spots as you can. And that's what keeps contributing to these cautions. Cautions breed cautions. Everybody wants to pick up as many spots, and the field's bunched back up. So we'll see what happens here, Sean.
Take a look at Jovi. You had said a little bit earlier that we weren't done talking about it, man. We are not. He is up in 5th position. Remember, he had an unfortunate incident on pit road, dropped him all the way back, probably around 20th position. He is all the way back up in the top 5 now and has a decent-looking car. So here we go.
Yeah, I think he has a great-looking car, Sean. That's one of my favorite schemes out there tonight, too. So it'll be interesting to see, if I'm anybody, I would almost rather be 5th more than I would want to be 2nd. If you can get the restart timed right. NASCAR added in the choose cone rule. iRacing doesn't have that, but I think the inside line is worth a lot here on these 2-lap shootouts.
And then back just a little bit further, Michael Madden in 9th position, so our winner from last night, up in the top 10.
Yeah, and like I said, early on, he rode around and he didn't get in any trouble, and made the most of his night so far. If I had to guess, I mean, listen, he didn't have any practice, and here he is in ninth place, and so he's kind of making a statement here, saying, "Hey, I may be a Truck Series guy, but you put me up here with the guys who, based off I rating, are supposed to be better than me, and I'll beat them too." So, big night here for Michael Madden.
And we see Dean Brummett back there in 11, so he's actually still moving forward a little bit. So all these guys, I mean, if they get another green-white checker, this could change a few more things.
That's exactly right, Sean. But these guys up front are hoping they can battle it out right here. We'll see if Zach Taylor can get a better restart. It doesn't look like he's going to, as Curtis Young is going to try to squeeze down, and I think he's not going to this time. It's very tight. Oh, he did squeeze down in front of him again, and he got a great run down into turn number 1. He's going to be all over the back bumper of his teammate Daniel Bowler as they come off turn number 2.
And Curtis moved up the track just a little bit. That's going to give the inside line to Zachary Taylor.
That's exactly right. And even though if you're Daniel Bowler, you want to see him side by side, I don't think I'd want to see the front bumper of Zach Taylor in my rearview mirror, because here they come off of turn number 4. Zach Taylor, he's going to have one more opportunity as they come off of 2 to put together a run in order to try to make a move down into turn number 3. Here comes Jovi on the inside of the 10 car. He's looking for 4th place. And
so here we
Zach
go.
Taylor to the bottom, they touch. He gave him the bumper.
Gave it to him again.
Up the track. Oh man, Zach Taylor to the point. That's teammates.
Oh no, and now Zach Taylor down.
Zach Taylor, he gave a big block. Here comes Curtis Young on the outside. Here comes Jovi, and he's looking for 3rd place. Zach Taylor going to try to make the bottom work.
Oh, Jovi puts number 10 up in the wall.
But it's going to be Zach Taylor. He is going to get the job done and win the race after a bumper given to Daniel Bowler. What a finish.
A couple of bumpers.
But, man, that was great to watch. And they're still wrecking. Everybody's wrecking.
Fantastic finish. Yeah, I'm not sure that Bowler's going to like that too much in the chat a little bit later, but, last lap of the race, not really sure what else obviously you want to do it cleanly, but not sure what else you could do.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sean. I misspoke and said that was teammates. I don't know why I got Curtis Young and Zach Taylor confused there, and Daniel Bowler may have, if he had a hand to put out the window, he probably would have done it.
He probably would have.
Maybe one finger, who knows? But hey, that's tough racing. Listen, Zach Taylor had his opportunity. I said he was going to need to make the run down into 3, but he said, no, I'm going to dive it down here into 1. And you touched on it, Sean. He likes to pull that move, and if you're Daniel Bowler, you got to know that. And this is a big win for Zach Taylor, and just a tough finish here for Daniel Bowler. He finished 16th is what I'm showing on the score, and so took the white flag in first and finished at 16th.
We're actually going to go back. We're going to view that last lap one more time, because there was just so much action there. And you can see Zach Taylor moving into 2nd place, and then he just had his sights on Daniel Bowler the entire way. And as they came up through the corner, you can see that Zach Taylor in this next turn is going to dive up. There it went.
Yeah, Daniel he arced his corner there, and that allowed Zach Taylor to be able to drive that deep into the corner and get to his bumper. But, man, Zach Taylor was about 2 car lengths off of Daniel when he made that move, and so I don't think that's going to go over very well. I think when you give the guy a bumper, you don't typically do it from that far back, but Daniel did a great job in saving it. But, yeah, he just arced his corner and trying to make sure that he'd be able to hold Zach Taylor off coming out of 2, but earlier on in the race, you saw Zach Taylor trying that bottom groove, that shallow entry. And I think Daniel needs to know that, and he needed to see that in order to fend it off, and it just didn't happen for him.
Yeah, Daniel Bowler will actually finish in 16th position after really leading the last half of this race.
Yeah, and then no stage points or anything like that to counteract the poor finish after what was essentially a flawless run by Daniel Bowler. So it was a great finish. I mean, it's a great way to start the season if you're a viewer, but not exactly the way you wanted it to end if you're Daniel Bowler.
No, not at all. But let's take a look and see what our standings look like here. So Zachary Taylor wins the race for Tank Racing. Curtis Young from R&D Motorsports in 2nd. Jovi in 3rd for H2K. Ryan Ducombe for H2K up in 4th. We didn't even talk about him all night, and he took home 4th position. And then Aaron Gerwitz from Rev Racing up in 5th.
Yeah, and we talked about R&D all night and how much time they spent in that top 4 or 5. And Sean, look, there's only one of them left when the checkered flag falls, and that's all that really matters. And Michael Madden, the independent. Look at him. He finished 6th, Sean. He was a Truck Series guy last night, and he comes in here and he shows, the 32 some odd guys behind him, hey, step it up, or I may be trying to take your ride next season. Josh Marcy finished 7th for H2K, so H2K has got a great show in there in the top 10, 3 guys. Michael Pickey for Tank Racing in 8th, Greg Joyner in 9th, and Bo Tiffany for the household team SRN. Dean Brummett, the Cup Series independent, in 11th. So a lot of names up there from, different teams and really spread the wealth tonight.
Yep, Jay Graves took 12th for R2D2 Motorsports. Daniel Keith from Team SRN in 13th. Nick Gowen from Bronco Motorsports in 14th. Danny Setzer, after being 2 laps down, all the way back up into the top 15.
Yeah, Sean, and something to touch on, I mentioned there's no stage points or anything like that. Danny Setzer, who we didn't get to see a whole lot of all night long, scored more points than Daniel Bowdler tonight. So that just goes to show there's really only one lap that matters, and that's the last one.
Absolutely it is. And so let's see if we can't get a couple of interviews, and we almost have to be kind of careful, because I know out there in the chat there's a lot of polarizing opinions out there as to whether or not that was clean or not. So but we'll try to get some good interviews here. Let's see if we can't get Jovi into the chat here and talk to him about his race, because again, he fell all the way back there. But hey, Jovi, this is Sean and Justin up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good. That was a good run. How are you guys?
Doing great. We were just talking about that run, because there in the beginning you had some trouble on pit road, and then you worked your way all the way back.
I messed it up big time. I don't know what happened, honestly. I just got nervous, I guess.
Well, Sean can vouch for this, Jovi. He's seen me do that same thing multiple times, unfortunately, broadcasting some races, man. So I sympathize with you. But, hey, man, you did a great job recovering there and bounced back for 3rd. And I can't help but think that you're the guy. If we get 3-4 more laps, maybe you make a run at that. We kept talking about how you were still working your way up. And, here you already found yourself in 3rd. So a great recovery. And I think that's going to give you some momentum into next week, don't you think?
Yeah, that last run, I don't think I really could have got to them. I think I burnt up my tires just coming through the field, honestly. And honestly, real quick, one thing, shout out to my team, Ryan, Josh, Troy, and Dustin. I had to shout them out real quick because they wasn't getting enough love on the broadcast.
Sorry, man. I mean, it was such a good race. We had so many good battles up towards the front. It's tough to go just a little bit further back. But yeah, they did a great job at the finish.
Yeah. I'm so proud for them.
Hey, you guys had a great show tonight, man. 3rd, 4th, 7th. I mean, you guys are littered all in the top 10 there, so it was a good run for H2K.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, we should have had, these practice races. I think we should have had a lot, maybe a win or 2 for us, but a lot of bad luck lately.
I mean, that sort of thing happens, and especially when you have 39 cars out on the track. I mean, there's going to be some people that have bad luck out there, but H2K has come to play, man. They are really working their way towards the front. We are very, very impressed by them, but I mean, impressed by you too. This is your first time in this league, and you just kind of jumped in, and then all of a sudden H2K grabbed you up, and now you're part of the family. So what does that mean to you that you were able to jump onto such a good team so quickly?
Honestly, it's been really fun. It's actually made me a better driver. I've gotten a lot more confidence. I'm meeting new people that actually race on this. So it's been really warm welcoming to come join a team and race in a league.
Well, man, we enjoy having you here, definitely. Congratulations on a great finish tonight, and we'll see what you can do next week at Kentucky.
Thank you, guys. Amazing broadcast as usual.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great night.
Good run, Joey. Good job.
All right, so let's see if we can't get Curtis Young from R&D Motorsports, and we'll see what he has to say about everything that happened there. So, hey, Curtis, this is Sean and Justin up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going all right. How are you guys tonight?
Doing well. Second place finish for you, and R&D was up front pretty much the entire race. What was it like having all your teammates surrounding you the entire time?
It was a lot of fun running behind David and having Daniel and Chris right there with me. We were able to control those last couple of restarts when there was a bunch of them at the end, so that was working in our favor until a little bit of nonsense at the end. But yeah, it was still a fun race.
Well, hey, listen, Curtis, you did a great job, man. You hung in there out front, and we talked about R&D having a great showing they had tonight, but come to the end of it, you're the only one left. What do you think that you did different that allowed you to still be there at the end when it came down to it?
I mean, Daniel had some pretty bad luck there. I guess I just didn't get punted by somebody that was impatient, really. So kind of bad luck on Daniel's end. I feel bad for him, but I don't know. I guess it was just bad luck on everybody else's end. I didn't really do much different other than we were all trying to just run our race and help each other out. So.
Well, I know that you guys all kind of came in around lap 60 to pit and everything, and then we were kind of concerned, is this thing going to go green the rest of the way? Before you pitted on lap 82, did you have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way?
Me and Dan, I'm not sure about David because David was he's our team owner, obviously. He just ran a one-off race tonight and he was in a different channel than us, but I know me and Daniel were running in the same spot on the track basically, and with all those cautions, I think we had enough saving fuel, but if with all the cautions, I think we did have enough to make it to the end, but it was debatable if we were going to have some green-white checkers like we did there, so it was up in the air. But then once enough cautions came out, we all just decided to pit, and it worked out for us.
Well, with only being the first week of the season, so what do you see as the rest of the season happening for your team?
I think we got a real solid team. Even Cody and Eric didn't have the best run tonight. They just had some bad luck. They didn't qualify very well. They got caught up in some incidents. But me and Daniel and Christopher there, we all seem to have a pretty good race, and we have the last few races as well. So I think we got a pretty solid team here going for the year. We were all talking in the chat the whole race, letting each other know what we were going to do for pit strategy, and if we could help each other out on the restarts, counting down, that's what we would do. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty good team, I think, that David's got going.
Yeah, you kind of sold on a lucky star when you jumped on this team, and congratulations to you. Great second place finish. That kind of sets you up a little bit ahead of everybody else moving forward into this season. But good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you next week at Kentucky.
All right, we'll see you guys then. Thanks for what you guys do.
Thanks, man.
Way to show out for R&D, buddy.
You can't be a hometown guy, okay? You can't do that.
I'm going to be a homer. I mean, listen, what are you going to do?
Absolutely nothing. let's be absolutely real on that. So let's get Zach Taylor up here into the booth and talk to him about his win. Hey, Zach, this is Sean and Justin up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great.
Man, great race for you. I know you were up in the top 5 the entire race. Tell us what happened there on the last lap.
That was just a real hard racing. We're battling for a win, and this first race creates a whole lot of momentum going through the season. So that's just a real hard, I would say short track racing on a mile and a half.
Yeah, I mean,
Zach,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Zach, I think your inbox is going to be popping off pretty loud here tonight. I mean, to those who say that they don't like that move, I mean, as nice as you can put it, I mean, it's racing. So is that how you see it? Just a good hard racing move?
The bump and run is something that's been perfected over the years in a lot of racers. And if you go to any short track in America, you're going to see it on a regular night. So yeah, in my eyes, there's a time and a place for it, and I felt that right there was the time and place for it.
All right, man.
Forward, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, so tell us about your team, because Tank Racing had a decent little showing tonight. So it looks like you got 3 guys in the top 20. So tell us about what your team chat was like the entire race there.
I think we got a real strong team this year. Obviously Mike and Derek and Devin. They're all up there real fast. Devin was real fast all night. I just think he got caught up in some incidents there. Mike, I was around him for most of the race. Emerson did a real good job recovering the whole race until he got wrecked. I don't know how Derek's race went exactly, but I think we got a real good team, real good, strong team. We're real good with each other, work good with each other, and I'm looking forward to the whole season with them.
Well, now that you got your first win out of the way, first official win out of the way here in Speed Racing Network, what are you looking at going forward? Have you looked at the schedule at all?
I'm really looking forward to Kentucky. I actually haven't lost a race there on iRacing for 2 years now, so hopefully we can go and get it done there. I'm really looking at the championship. That's my main goal here. I think that'd be pretty cool to go out and win championship.
All right, Justin, so you heard it here first. Go bet on Zach Taylor at Kentucky.
Hey, man, they do a lot of horse racing out there in Kentucky, so Zach Taylor may be the horse to bet on.
Absolutely. Well, Zach, we appreciate you being here, man. Congratulations on a win tonight. Can't wait to see what you do going forward here, and we will see you next weekend at Kentucky. Not next weekend, next week at Kentucky.
Thank y'all.
All right, buddy. Have a great night. All right. So, Justin, what are we looking at here, man?
Hey, man, that was a great race. I really enjoyed that, Sean, and we had a little bit of everything, man. Had some green flag stops, long green flag runs, and we had the intense restarts. And next week we head to Kentucky, and a lot of people tend to like to look at these mile and a half, what they call cookie cutter tracks. But let me tell you, Kentucky's far from that. It's nothing like Chicagoland. The turns are way different. So I think next week probably see a very interesting race, and I think you're going to see a little bit of everything. Once again, green flag runs, late race restarts. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see.
Absolutely, we will. And so that is our next broadcast for the Xfinity Series is the Bluegrass 150 from Kentucky Speedway. That is next Thursday, January 14th at 9 p.m. Central. But our very next broadcast, you might see Justin Boyles out there on the track because he's going to be driving in the Windy City 200 right here at Chicagoland Sunday, January 10th in the Cup Series. Do not miss that race. It is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, man, we're really looking forward to that one to get the season started. And I think that race is going to look a lot more like the Truck Series did last night. I think the packs are going to stay a little bit tighter, maybe more 2-3 wide, a little bit longer than we saw tonight, just because once again you have that high downforce, low horsepower package. So really looking forward to get the season started, and I can't wait.
Well, man, if all the races are just like this race, then we are going to have 58 more phenomenal races this season. But for right now, we're going to let everybody get back to their own lives until they're able to come back to our lives here at Speed Racing Network. So for Justin Boyles and myself, Sean Griffith, everybody have a great night. We'll see you this weekend at Chicagoland for the Windy City 200 in the Cup Series. But remember, go faster.
That's right.